A sentence can be written in either active or passive voice. Let's look at an active sentence first. The lifeguard rescued the swimmer. We can write this same sentence in passive voice. The swimmer was rescued by the lifeguard. If a sentence is written in active voice, the subject of the sentence does the action. For example, King Kong crushed a red car. The subject of this sentence is King Kong, and he does the action crush. If a sentence is written in passive voice, the subject of the sentence receives the action. For example, a red car was crushed by King Kong. The subject of the sentence is the red car, but the red car does not do anything in the sentence. The red car receives the action crushed. A sentence written in passive voice doesn't always state who is doing the action. For example, we could just say, a red car was crushed. This sentence is still written in passive voice because the subject, the red car, is still receiving the action. It's being crushed. Is this sentence written in active or passive voice? The store was broken into by robbers. To answer this question, let's ask ourselves, is the subject doing the action? This sentence is written in passive voice. The subject, the store, is not doing an action. It is having something done to it. Is this sentence written in active or passive voice? The woman combed her long hair. Remember, to figure out if a sentence is active or passive, ask yourself, is the subject doing the action? This is an active sentence. The subject of the sentence is the woman, and she is doing the action, comb. A sentence can be written in active or passive voice. For example, the active sentence, Cameron played the guitar, can also be written in the passive voice. The guitar was played by Cameron. The active voice is stronger and easier to understand. Let's look at another example. An active sentence is, we cut the paper with scissors. If we write this same sentence in the passive voice, we have, the paper was cut with scissors by us. The active sentence is much stronger, more direct, and more concise. However, there are two reasons to use passive voice. Use passive voice if you don't know who is doing the action. For example, the ballots were counted. This sentence is written in the passive voice because we don't know who counted the ballots. Also use passive voice to put less emphasis on the person doing the action. For example, let's look at the active sentence, auto workers built the car in 1969. The subject of this sentence is auto workers, so the sentence is about the auto workers. But what if we wanted to emphasize the car being built and not the people doing it? We could write this sentence in the passive voice. The car was built in 1969 by auto workers. Using the passive voice puts the emphasis on the car and not the auto workers.
When should the passive voice be used? Check all that are true. The correct answer is, when you don't know who is doing the action, and, when you don't want to emphasize the person doing the action. Passive voice is more awkward, and more difficult to read. so it should only be used when the doer of the action is unknown or unimportant. Otherwise, active voice should be used. Determine if the sentence below is written in the active or passive voice. Ryan saw the northern lights on his vacation to Sweden. The correct answer is active voice. The subject of the sentence does the action in the active voice. Ryan is the subject of this sentence, and he is the one doing the action.
We know